Uh, Hi. This is kind of an out of the blue video. I, if you don't know me, it's unknown. I am a Hazbin Hotel fan. I'm currently writing a fan fiction about the show. I'm not gonna yap about that too much, even though I definitely could if I wanted to. Last week we had the early access release of Gravity, which is a song in the upcoming season, which releases on the 29th. So that's 11 days from the recording of this video. So this video is going to essentially it's here so that we can take in the song together. I've heard it a million times already. I have it on loop constantly. It's such an amazing song. But I'm going to take what I can from this song and I'm going to theorize because Lute is one of my favorite characters. And if you've ever read my fanfiction, you'll see that. That's very obvious. But Lute is one of my favorite characters. So this song is exactly what I've been waiting for. And I guess let's just hop right into it. Why not?
Does no one know who they're dealing with? Think I'll let it go, forget and forgive. The rage in me is terminal. There's no remedy but to burn them all. I still got a job to do, my mission's incomplete. Only a traitor could consider making peace. The princess has to pay for what she did that day, for what she took away. Storms coming, I can see the clouds. No running's gonna save you now, and heart rate is gonna fall down like gravity, like gravity. Eye for an eye says you won't be a dead. Blood and man's blood gonna get my hands wet. The flood's coming, now you can't bet on tragedy, like gravity. You think you're hell's great savior? Will you still when I return the favor? Take the one you need, make you watch him bleed. Will you break thinking how you couldn't save her? Wishing you were there when they needed you, the only soul who's ever completed you. Maybe then you'll get a little heated too, and understand why this is what I need to do. Storms coming, I can see the clouds. No running's gonna save you now, and heart rate is gonna fall down like gravity, like gravity. Eye for an eye says you owe me a debt. Blood and man's blood gonna get your hands wet. The flood's coming, now you can't bet on tragedy, like gravity.
Okay. Oh, that's a voice crack. Take that from the top. Okay. So I guess the first few things that really stand out to me is, well, it's a lot to take in, to be honest. I'm trying to mentally process what I want to say first because I have a lot of stuff I want to say. First off, Adam died in season 1, so of course, what the Adam that we see here, the Adam we see
Does no one know who to get? The rage in me is terminal.
If I can pause this. Adam is in Lute's mind. He's not actually there. Lute is essentially, she's jumped off the deep end and has gone crazy. The long and the short of it. I also want to point out another thing about Adam. He doesn't speak unless Lute's talking about revenge or rage. So, here.
Forget and forgive. The rage in me is terminal. There's no remedy but to burn them all.
So he's vocal there. He's talking. Burn them all, right?
I still got a job to do, my mission's incomplete. Only a traitor could consider making peace. The princess has to pay for what she did that day, for what she took away.
As soon as Lute stops talking about revenge, Adam stops talking. As soon as Lute starts feeling guilt and regret about anything, Adam shuts up. Which shows you that Lute doesn't actually see Adam Okay, how should I word this? Lute doesn't see the person behind the mask. Lute sees the exorcist leader that she has fought beside for centuries, millennia even. I don't know how long the exterminations have been going on. But what I see is I see that Lute, whenever Lute stops talking about revenge or fighting or anger, Adam stops talking. Which shows that even in Lute's mind, Adam is nothing but a psychopathic. No, I shouldn't say psychopathic. He actually had a goal, and he actually had a somewhat sound plan to the exterminations. He's even in Lute's mind, Adam is someone who likes to kill. Because he does. Adam likes to kill the sinners. Even if his plan was actually somewhat sound at the beginning until Charlie interfered, which I will admit, as much as I disliked the idea of the exterminations, they were a good idea. They were a great idea to stop hell from uprising, and until Charlie got in the way, they were doing alright. Actually, you know what? On that note, it wasn't even Charlie that got in the way. It was Carmilla Carmine that killed the first exorcist. So, I mean, Carmilla killed the first exorcist, which triggered Adam to double exterminations, from happening once a year to twice a year, which of course really upset Charlie. So, yeah, essentially, none of season 1 would have actually happened without Carmilla Carmine. Back on point. What was I talking about? I've lost my train of thought. Adam, right? Lute. So like I've said, when Lute stops talking about pain and revenge and fighting and shit, Adam stops talking, which I thought was really good.
I can see the clouds. No running's gonna save you now, and heart rate is gonna fall down like gravity, like gravity.
I saw Adam's mouth moving there. I didn't hear him though. It might just be me not hearing him. Let me rerun.
Gravity, like gravity.
No, I hear him there. He's talking there, but of course Lute's talking about revenge and shit. Also, I like how Adam's guitar is there, even though Adam's guitar was a magical thing. It wasn't actually like a material object. It was something Adam summoned. So I don't know how they managed to get that in a case somewhere.
Says you won't be a dead. Blood damage, blood gonna get my hands wet. The flood's coming, now you can't bet on tragedy like gravity.
I just want to point out the Bible reference, the flood, Noah's Ark, that story. Kind of a cool, interesting reference there.
You think you're hell's great savior? Will you still when I return the favor? Take the one you need, make you watch him bleed. Will you break thinking how you couldn't save her?
Alright. So, she's obviously talking about killing Vaggie because she's mad that she feels that Charlie's at fault for Adam's death, even though, Nifty was the one that killed him. But she feels that since Charlie led the Hazbin Hotel, Charlie's at fault for Adam's death. And so, Lute wants to take her anger out on Charlie by making her suffer the same way she feels she's suffering by killing the one that she needs, which is Vaggie. So, Lute's gonna try and kill Vaggie to try and inflict the same emotional turmoil on Charlie. Which is, if I was Lute, I would probably want the same thing. Like, that's logical.
Wishing you were there when they needed you. The only soul who's ever completed you. Maybe then you'll get a little heated too and understand why this is what I need to.
That positioning of the blade there, I don't think that's where it was at the end of season 1. I think it was lower down because Nifty's short. So it's interesting that it's that high up on his chest. But I guess in the end, remember, this is just this is a figmentation of Lute's imagination. Lute's gone crazy. And I get the feeling people confuse the relationship between Lute and Adam. Because, from what I understand, the Exorcists were created either by Adam or for Adam specifically. They weren't winners that were recruited into the army like it would be in the real world. Or they weren't winners that were conscripted into the army. They weren't drafted into the Exorcist program. Otherwise, we would have had a lot more instances like Vaggie of Exorcists not doing their job. They were either created by Adam or for Adam specifically. Which means the whole existence of the Exorcists is for Adam and for this cause of extermination, wiping out all demons. So a lot of people think that Adam and Lute are a thing. Even when Adam was alive, everyone thought they were a thing. No, they weren't a thing. And I'm not going to pretend they were any longer. They were not a thing. And that this is an unhealthy relationship. This is a very unhealthy relationship. Because what happened is you had Adam, big dick in charge. I know, yes, I'm cool. I'm amazing. That's what he was like. He was a misogynistic jerk. And he didn't care for the other exorcist. He cared about killing demon ass. Which means this quote-unquote love that Lute feels is completely one-sided. And it's not even love. Because Adam is probably the only person outside of the other female exorcists that she's spent time with. She's devoted her whole existence to the exterminations and to Adam. She hasn't been around anyone else. She's devoted her whole life to this person who doesn't care. And I know I'm going to get people in the comments like, oh, that smile at the end. I feel like that smile, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I need a moment to think about that. That smile at the end just before Adam dies. I think that's him knowing Lute isn't going to let it slide. Lute isn't one to surrender to anything. Hell, she ripped off her own arm just to fight Vaggie off. That's not someone who's going to surrender to anything.
Storms coming, I can see the clouds. No running's gonna save you now.
Alright, 2 comments. That arm is really, really strong to be able to cut that. Or to scratch that like that. Which means she's definitely going to be a force to reckon with. Especially since she's gone off the deep end and wants to do everything she can to kill Vaggie. She is going to be a force to be reckoned with. That prosthetic arm is going to be really dangerous. Like gravity. Eye for an eye says you owe me a debt. Love demands blood, gonna get your head. This scene here, it's ironic that in the song called Gravity, that Lute's able to defy the laws of gravity. Because her wings aren't flapping, she's not flying or anything, she's just walking on walls. And we saw it up in the ceiling too, she was just crawling on the ceiling. I don't know what to make of that. Whether it's some sort of magic endued in Adam's halo that's on her wrist. Which is interesting that it's lighting up again. I do want to point that out. Adam's halo is glowing again. At the end of season 1, after Adam died, it stopped glowing. So I don't know if that's the same. It might be the same halo that Lute has whittled down to fit onto her wrist. Because Lute did pick up the halo before she left Hell. So it might be the same halo, it might be a new halo. Either way, it's glowing again. I want to imagine there's some sort of magic in that prosthetic arm. Gonna get your hands wet, the floods come, and now you can't bet on tragedy like gravity. I feel like that ending scene where you just get Lute breathing heavily it shows a lot more than people have been putting on. Because in the end, even though the exterminations were just genocidal wars, even though the exterminators, the exorcists, were for the most part, of course we have vague exceptions, were bloodthirsty murderers that just wanted to kick demon ass, they are living beings with feelings. And it's not that she's definitely fully out for revenge. But there's a reason behind that. There is a definitive guilt in her mind. Because we can actually see, where is it in the song? It's about here. It's just after here.
Make you watch them bleed. Will you break thinking how you couldn't save her? Wishing you were there when they needed you.
She's regretting fighting Veggie in the 8th episode of season 1. She has reflected, and she's wishing that she could have been with Adam when he needed her most. She was wishing that she wasn't so caught up on fighting Veggie that she could have saved Adam. These people, these exorcists, these beings of what seem to be pure bloodthirsty rage, have feelings. They can feel sorrow. They can feel regret. As evident with Veggie, who felt sorrow for that, who felt compassion for that child, as seen in episode 6, who spared the sinner, and who was able to find a new love outside of exterminations, because I would assume she would have felt the same sort of infatuation for Adam, because, again, she's devoted, up until that point, her entire life to serving him. But no, she was able to find new love. She was able to be comforted by Charlie. She was able to find that new sense of belonging in hell. She was able to find that help that she needed, that Luke cannot find, because she's still in heaven. She didn't fall. She is isolated. She has isolated herself in this room, which I believe is the room from episode 1 at the end, where they at first find the dead exorcist. That's what I think this room is. You know, with like the scene with the drone, and it scans the dead exorcist, and then Luke and Adam are in the dark room. This is that room. And so, as I was saying, Vaggie was able to find that help that she needed. Luke doesn't have that help. She's still in heaven. There isn't anyone out there to help her. Like even Abel, fuck me. Abel was probably watching that whole thing, to be honest, from how he was looking. And if not, he either was watching the whole thing or came in at the last minute to, like, I don't know, maybe collect his dad's stuff. I wouldn't know. But he didn't want to help Luke. He was scared. And even in the trailer, we hear Abel say, "I'm not ready for this." He has no idea what he's doing. I get the feeling he's like Emily. He is somewhat naive to everything. I don't think Adam and Abel had a very good relationship. Although, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking back, Adam in this whole season is a mental projection of Luke. So in the trailer, when Adam goes, "I never really liked that kid," that might just be Luke. Nobody knows anything about the relationship between Adam and his son. I really can't speak on behalf of that. What do I want to talk about now? I guess we should talk about when this song takes place. There was a scene in the trailer where Abel, Emily, Sarah, Charlie, and Luke come through a portal to hell carrying gift baskets. I think this song takes place immediately after that. Because there's no way Luke would willingly go down to hell and offer to make peace. In fact, we see that at the start of the song.
who they're dealing with. Think I'll let it go, forget and forgive. The rage in me,
not this
burn
one.
them all. I still got a job to do, my mission's incomplete. Only a traitor could consider making peace.
So he's considering the Seraphim. She's considering able traitors because they are willing to negotiate and talk with Charlie, and they're considering making peace. So she sees the Seraphim as traitorous to heaven. They are treasonous in her mind. And so, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lute lash out at Emily or Sarah. But I doubt that's going to happen. She does hold some respect for authorities. At least she did in season 1. But I'm assuming this song happens immediately after that. This seems like, from what I've seen in season 1, with the whole Abel walking out of the oh fuck, where is it? With this, that's just comedic timing, and then the episode ends right there. This is one of those episodes that happen. This is one of those songs that happens right at the end of an episode. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm calling that. So this is going to happen in the episode where they try to go down and make peace, and at the end, Lute's up in Adam's office, crashing out because like, no, fuck this. I don't want to make peace. They need to all burn. And then the episode ends, and then we move on to another plot point. And as for Lute, I see Lute is either going to find a home in hell, Lute is going to fall, or die this season. I don't think there's any in between to any of this. I don't think there's a possibility where Lute stays in heaven. And honestly, if anyone were to kill Lute, I think it would be Charlie. I do think it would be Charlie. Because with Lute targeting Vaggie, the way she plans to, as seen in this song, Charlie is very caring, and she sees good in everyone. But eventually she saw that there was no good in Adam. And she's going to see, well, now that I'm talking about this, I'm talking out loud, I could see Charlie doing two things. She would see that there is no good in Lute and kill Lute, or she might see the raw emotion behind Lute's fighting and offer her a place to try and get that help the way she helped Vaggie. But with Lute's headstrongness, I don't think she would accept that help. And then she would probably go and try to hide in hell and operate an exterminations type thing from within hell if she doesn't die. But there is no reality I see where Lute stays in heaven. Is there anything else I want to talk about? What have I talked about? I think that might be about it. Yeah. So, to sum it up, like I said, these exorcists, even, if they are bloodthirsty murderers that took part in genocidal wars that nobody could defend against until Carmela Carmine killed an angel, they have feelings. They can feel regret. They can feel sorrow. They can be sad. In fact, I saw this one piece of artwork on Reddit once, where it was this exorcist character created by this person looking at a wall of names of fallen soldiers. And they were sad because I would assume exorcists, at least the lower ranking ones, the ones that aren't lieutenants like Lute, the ones that, actually interacted with each other, they would form relationships. Platonic, maybe even romantic bonds amongst each other. And losing those people, I mean, in Lute's case, it drives rage. Because yes, definitely loss If you don't have the right ways to deal with your loss, it will lead to rage. But in this artwork I saw, they were actually feeling sad, and because they had formed these bonds with these other exorcists. And regardless of what side of the war you're on, you're going to see some of that true, raw, emotional power. Because in the end, they're all humanoid. Because I can't really say they're all human. The sinners are all human, but most of the sinners don't care. And the angels, Adam was a human, so yeah, he's human. Although I don't really understand why he was in heaven. That's a story for another video. But these angels all have feeling. They have that free will. They have that. They definitely have the free will, as we see in Veggy's case, and they have the emotional turmoil, as we see in both Veggy and Luke. And it's a whole lot of stuff to unpack. And season 2 releases at 3 a.m. on the Wednesday for me. I'm staying up to watch those first 2 episodes. Those first 2 episodes, I'm watching those. If I fall asleep, I'm gonna be very upset with myself, because I'm definitely gonna try and stay up and watch those. I guess that's all from me. I'm gonna cut this. I'm not even gonna cut this. I'm going to stop this recording and then immediately upload it to YouTube. This is gonna be one of those effortless videos where I don't really care what I'm doing. Just one take. Because that's the best way to record a video, in my opinion. If you want a really honest video, do it scriptless and do it in one take. Whatever mistakes you have, leave them in. They're the best types of videos, in my opinion. Even if you're just rambling on and on, that's why fast forward exists. I could talk about so much more, but I've already been recording for, let's see, half an hour now. So this is actually pretty much a full-length video of me just yapping about a Hazbin Hotel song. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it off. I really can't wait for the season. That's gonna be a banger. And then we still have 2 more seasons after this, so I expect to see more of Lilith in season 3, and maybe even Root of All Evil, the Rue character that was teased in the pilot. I'm not sure if we're gonna see any of that, but I would definitely like to. I can't wait for this. I really can't wait for this. I need to shut up. I need to force myself to shut up, or I'm just gonna keep talking forever. Have fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.